how do you come across incredible? Not incredible, credible. That's something I want to have a look at today with you guys. Rick Marks here. There's a few points. I'm going to try and touch on 5 main points that I've heard talked about. And the first point being that you turn statements into questions. It's all about the tone of your voice and the inflection. And as I've talked about before, a lot of it's about the body language, which is the visual communication. Or the audio fluctuations as well. So if you go, how are you doing today? As a statement, or you doing well today? Versus, are you doing well today? So in how we present and how we format, how wording, I guess this has changed a lot of how communication has happened with the emerging of technology, because we don't necessarily, we do have the video conferencing and FaceTime. We do audio is quite there. However, studies have shown that the Y generation and so on, and down to the younger ones, we don't like phone calls. For some reason, I'm not quite sure. I agree, I really don't like talking on the phone. I would prefer to get a text message or an email or something that just takes an element of it out. But by not having that audio and by not having that, we're now relying back towards that grammar, which for many of us, we have never mastered the art form of good grammar. And I'm thankful that, my wife was very good with English, and back when I ran my electrical business, she helped me to write the communication emails and stuff to my customers, and I learnt really good art form of using grammar. Now, grammar is only as good as the writing on the paper and understanding and the knowledge of those marks and context. If the reader themselves doesn't understand how those punctuation marks and stuff work, then they're not going to get the context. So it's kind of like that two-way. With an audio, you can't misread it. For the most part, you can misread it in the fact that you didn't actually hear what I was saying. And that's often misunderstood as well, which is why often if I'm having a conversation with somebody and it's a really important point I'm trying to get across, I'll often get them to kind of rehash it for me. So do you understand what I'm saying? And allow them to then go, yeah, I do. And you go, so how have you received it? Or each person needs to find the natural way to get that return, but by kind of getting it back from them, then they're going to regurgitate to you what you've said. Now then you have the opportunity to go, no, hang on, that's not quite right. What I am trying to relay here is blah, 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 blah. And that gives you then that opportunity to correct that. Little do we actually do this, and this is also around the active listening and hearing what they've said, because then we can give them the actual thought that we had, the actual delivery, rather than this interpretation of what they thought you meant to say, which was cloaked in all of their own perceived narrative around other things that they've been told about you, or whatever it is that's given them a falsified story, that then they go away and they'd say, oh, you wouldn't believe it, I was told by Harry that blah, 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 blah. And somebody else goes, oh, that's strange. Okay. It starts the Chinese whispers. So get them to verbalize it back. What do you understand I've said here? Or, what do you think I've said? And then be able to craft it and make sure that the understanding is there. So yes, making sure you're clear on that. We forget to smile. Not fake smile, but natural. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be presenting. I'm happy to be sharing my thoughts, my ideas, my experiences with you as an audience. So we need to just have that natural smile. We need to remember when we are talking to others, when we're presenting, often again, we're so busy thinking about what we're delivering, we're focused and we're in depth thought, and rather than smiling. We're happy to be here. I'm happy to be presenting to you guys. Something I can work on. I'm not preaching because, you know, I've got it down pat. I'm still working on it myself. Don't hurry or rush yourself. So that's a huge one, because more often than not, if you're in a presentation, I find people just start to really talk really fast, and they've got so much they've got to get out, and they've got such limited time. Slow down, take a breath. And I find this is really relevant when you're talking with kids, because kids just, like, they're crying and trying to talk at 100 miles an hour. So take a breath. We've got time. Take a breath. Gain control. And I think that's no different with us as adults, us as humans. Take a breath. Gain control. We may not be upset, but when you're in fight or flight mode, when you're feeling the butterflies because you didn't want to do this presentation, or, you know, got dropped on you last minute, whatever the circumstances are, just take the moment. Take a breath. Gain control. Smile and deliver. Don't read from the slides. If you've got to read from slides, then you don't know what you're talking about. Most of my stuff is just my head. I don't have any scripting. I do have some notes in this particular one because there were points that I wanted to make. Often I do just talk off points as well. Points is different to slides. I've been in meetings where somebody just sits and literally reads the slide to me, and it could have been an email. I waste my time, and it doesn't give me confidence that they actually even know what they're talking about. They can read a slide, fantastic, thumbs off to you. If this is your area of expertise, if this is your jam, you should know it all up here. The slides also, don't fill them with words, just keep them to the relevance. I find so many meetings and stuff I go into where it's like an essay. I don't need to sit and read the essay. I just need to know the main points. And to check in with the audience. And I've said this before as well. Ask the questions, throw something back to them, give them a break. It's hard to do when you're talking to a camera. However, if you're talking to a live audience, if you're talking to a boardroom of people, ask some questions, throw some questions out there. And whilst they're answering, actively listening to their response, but it gives you time to have a drink of water, breathe, and regain your control again. So you're not rushing yourself. Again, you've got the time. I understand you might have only had an hour for the meeting or whatever, and that is a factor as well. So, you know, got to keep all that in mind. And I'm aware that we don't, you know, like we did back in primary school and high school, where we rehearsed our speech. I get that we don't have time often to rehearse our presentation right the way through to make sure we fit it into 45 minutes with a 15-minute Q&A section. But check in with the audience, and then, like I say, that gives you relief. So you're not having to talk and engage, and it gets them also passing back stuff, and helps you then to direct around. So I've been in meetings where it's almost a create your own story. Now, I don't know if you've experienced one of those books, but, you know, you pick your path. It's no different. I've been in meetings where it's been quite, you know, sporadic. We've gone on a journey, and it's actually been quite enjoyable. I've walked away going, wow, it doesn't even feel like I left a meeting there. So yeah, if you've got other tips, chuck them in the comments. If you've enjoyed it, subscribe, thumbs up, and bell notification, 9 AM Australian Eastern Standard Time. I'm bringing new videos out Monday to Friday, 9 AM. Till tomorrow, you have a good one and have a really good day. See you tomorrow. Bye.